gave you question 5 so for homework on page 98. Do you need me to do it? Yeah, okay. Right, so I'm doing page 98, question 5. So it tells me Z1 is equal to 3 minus 4i. It tells me I started now, so that means Eve stop talking. Thanks. 5 plus I, and Z3 is equal to minus 2 plus I. And it says sort these out. So part 1 is Z1 multiplied by Z1 with a line across the top, which is the conjugate. Okay, so Z1 is 3 minus 4i. A dot means multiply, so they want you to multiply it by the conjugate, which is 3 plus 4i.
Sorry, can I borrow that later, please?
If you go to that box there and stick your hand into that box there, there should be one in there.
This one?
Yeah, is there one in there?
No.
Right, go to the box that's behind on the shelf beside Ella. What were you looking for?
A calculator.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were asking for a log table because about 15 people came and asked for log tables. I apologise.
You're grand, thanks.
Right,
Thanks for your
okay.
help on it.
Right, okay. So split up the first bracket, write the second bracket twice. 3 plus 4i.
Since we can't see the other side.
Oh yeah, sorry.
What does it say beside the 4?
Sorry?
Is that a 3? It's an only
3 minus 4i times 3 plus 4i.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's Z1 multiplied by Z1 conjugate with the line across the top. So Z1 is 3 minus 4i. Z1 conjugate is 3 plus 4i. So it's just to multiply some. So minus 4i times 3 plus 4i. Multiplying out, you get 3 3s are 9. 3 by 4i is 12i. Then I have minus 4i by 3 is minus 12i. And then a minus by a plus is a minus. 4 by 4 is 16. And I by I is I squared. The minute you see an I squared, replace it with a minus 1. So that's 9 plus 12i minus 12i minus 16 times minus 1, which is 9 plus 12i.
Excuse me, please, Betty Horgan to reception now.
Minus 12i. A minus by minus is a plus. 16 by 1 is 16. Right? And then put your real bits together. 9 plus 16 gives me 25. And plus 12i minus 12i will give me 0. So my answer is 25. Okay? Yes?
I was doing it when I went to back the book. It was like plus 0 or something like that. If you don't do that, I'll say.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. Part 2 then asked me for Z1 divided by Z3. So So Z1 is 3 minus 4i. And Z3 is minus 2 plus I. Can I move it up? So that's a division. So division is you multiply above and below by the conjugate of what's below. So what am I multiplying above and below by, please? Minus 2 minus I. And make sure you multiply below the line by the exact same thing. Okay? So above the line, you are multiplying 3 minus 4i multiplied by minus 2 minus I. And below the line, you are multiplying minus 2 plus I multiplied by minus 2 minus I. Okay, so above the line, split it up, 3 times minus 2 minus I minus 4I times minus 2 minus I. Multiplying out here, you get minus 6 minus 3I. A minus by minus is a plus, 4I by 2 is 8I. And a minus by minus is a plus, and 4I by I is 4I squared. The minute you see an I squared, replace it with a minus 1. So that's minus 6 minus 3I plus 8I plus 4 times minus 1. So that's minus 6 minus 3I plus 8I minus 4. Okay? Right? That's minus 10 plus 5I. Okay? Below the line, it's minus 2 times minus 2 minus I plus I times minus 2 minus I, and off we go again. That's plus 4, that's plus 2I. Here it would be minus 2I, and plus by a minus is a minus. I by I is I squared. So that's 4 plus 2I minus 2I minus minus 1. Okay, so that's 4 plus 2I minus 2I plus 1. I's cancel, and 4 plus 1 gives me 5. Okay, so can I go back up here, right, to put it back together? So I have minus 10 plus 5I on top. I have 5 on the bottom. So split it up and give each one its 5. So minus 10 over 5 plus 5I over 5. Now you can simplify this one. So what's minus 10 divided by 5? Minus 2, isn't it? And the 5's cancel here, and I'm just left with I. Is that right? Okay. Can I move it up? Right, next one is number 3. Yes. Yeah. So it's number 3 is Z2 with a line across the top multiplied by Z1. So Z2 with a line across the top is Z2 conjugate. So Z2 is minus 5 plus, Z2 is 5 plus I. What's Z2 conjugate? 5 plus I becomes 5 minus I, doesn't it? And you want to multiply that by Z1, and Z1 is 3 minus 4I. So then you're multiplying out, and we get 5 times 3 minus 4I minus I times 3 minus 4I. Right, I'm thinking you don't need me to multiply this out, because you're okay at multiplying out. It was just setting it up was a problem, I'd say. Are we okay? Yeah. Is it okay that I don't multiply it out, because I'm going to run out of time for something new today?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
You know, like the changing the signs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You don't, it's only the I number you're changing.
Only the I number, yeah.
That's like it, that's not.
Yeah. Okay. Part 4 then, right, is Z3 divided by, I have to get near, is it Z1 or Z1 conjugate? Z1 conjugate, isn't it? So Z3 is minus 2 plus I. Z1 conjugate, girls. So Z1 is 3 minus 4I. So Z1 conjugate is 3 plus 4I. Okay? So then you're multiplying above and below. It's a division. So what you multiply above and below by? 3 minus 4I over 3 minus 4I. And again, so above the line, we want to multiply minus 2 plus I by 3 minus 4I. That looks minus 3. It's 3 minus 4I. And below the line, we want to multiply 3 plus 4I by 3 minus 4I. And again, is it okay, sorry, I know it's gone. Is it okay that I don't multiply those out? Because I'm sure multiplying at this stage is okay for you. Would that be right? Is that okay? Right, I presume setting it up was the problem. I'll finish part 5 from start to finish now. So part 5 is Z1 minus Z2 on top divided by Z3 conjugate. Okay, so I have to do Z1 minus Z2 on top before I start. So Z1 was 3 minus 4i, and I need to minus, I'm going to put the second one in a bracket, because if I don't, I'll forget to change the sign for the minus. So it's minus Z2, Z2 is 5 plus I. And then I want to divide that by Z3 with a line across the top, which is Z3 conjugate. So Z3 is minus 2 plus I, so that means Z3 conjugate is minus 2 minus I. Is that alright? Okay, starting out on top, that's 3 minus 4I minus 5, and that becomes a minus I all over minus 2 minus I. So tidying up on top, it's minus 2 minus 5I all over minus 2 minus I. Okay, so then that's your division. So then you must multiply above and below by the conjugate of what's below. So what's the conjugate of what's below? Minus 2 plus I. So you multiply above the line by minus 2 plus I, and you multiply below the line by minus 2 plus I. So above the line, I'm multiplying minus 2 minus 5I by minus 2 plus I, and below the line, I'm multiplying minus 2 minus I by minus 2 plus I. So you're going to split up the first bracket, write the second bracket down twice. When you do that, you'll end up with 4 minus 2I plus 10I minus 5I squared. Okay, so that would be minus 5 times minus 1, which would become a plus 5. So you'd end up with 9 plus 8I when you replace that with minus 1. Is that alright? I didn't make a mistake, did I? Right, okay, here, when you multiply out, you'll get 4 minus 2I plus 2I minus I squared. And then you replace that I squared with minus 1, so that becomes minus minus 1, which is a plus 1. So you end up with 5, and the things cancel. So you end up with 9 plus 8I over 5, and give each one its own little 5. So that's 9 over 5 plus 8I over 5. Job done. Is that right? Is that wrong? Did you get that? Yeah, okay. Right, I just thought I was getting funny looks. Are we okay? I just took lots of shortcuts there with the multiplying, because I presumed multiplying is okay for you. Yes? Yeah. Okay, right, so today I want to talk about an Argand diagram, right? And an Argand diagram sounds really complicated, but it's not. So it's called an Argand diagram, and it's basically a graph. Right, so when we were drawing graphs before, what was the horizontal line called? What was this called? The x-axis. And what was this one called? Y-axis. So instead of the x-axis, girls, in an Argand diagram, you have the real axis and you have the imaginary axis. So instead of x and y, I have real and imaginary, right? And I still have my scales 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, and minus 1, minus 2, and minus 3. Okay, is that alright? So the scales are still the same, except I don't call them x and y anymore, I call them real and imaginary. Okay? So if I wanted to plot 2 plus 3i, right? This is the real bit, and this is the imaginary bit. So I go to 2 on the real axis. So I go across to 2, and then I go up to 3 on the imaginary axis. So 2, 3, there we go. Cross 2 and up 3, that's 2 plus 3i. Does everyone see how I've done it? What did I really plot in old language? What did I just plot? The point what? 2, 3. So point 2, 3. Okay? So if I was to plot minus 1 minus 2i, I'd go across to minus 1 on the real axis, and then I'd go down to minus 2 on the imaginary axis, and I'd end up here, which is minus 1 minus 2i is that point. Okay? So I've just plotted the point minus 1 minus 2. Do you all see what I'm doing? Right, okay. So if I was to plot 4i, no, I won't plot 4i, I'll plot 3i. So what's the real bit? It's just 3i on its own. What's the real bit? 0. So it's 0 plus 3i, isn't it? So that means I go to 0 on the real axis, and I go to 3 on the imaginary axis, so I end up there. So that's the point 3i. Is that okay? What if I was to plot the point minus 2? Minus 2, what's the imaginary part? 0. So that's minus 2 plus 0i. So we go across to minus 2 and up 0. Right? So that's the minus 2. Is that right? Do you think we have it? Right. I'll just do one more. If I was to plot 2 minus I. So what number is in front of the imaginary? So it's 2 on the real axis, that's grand. What's it on the imaginary axis? What's in front of that I? Minus 1, isn't there? So it's across 2 down to minus 1. Cross 2 down to minus 1. So that's 2 minus I. Remember, if you see an I on its own, there's a 1 understood to be in front of it. It's not 0. Right? If it was 0, it wouldn't be there at all. Right? But if the I is there, there's a 1 understood to be in front of it. Okay? Argand diagrams? Think we're fine with them? Right, okay. So we're going to do, sometimes they might ask you to do a multiply, get the answer, and plot the answer. So we're able to multiply, get the answer, and then they might ask you to plot the answer, okay? So I'm going to ask you to do page 99 to 100. Let's do all of question 1. All of 2. What time is it? You've got 20 minutes now. So I'll go all of 3 and all of 4. Okay? So page 99 to 100, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I'm here for help if anyone needs me. Okay? So you're just plotting, and in 2, 3, and 4 you might have to multiply or add